Hello everyone and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're checking out the alpha version of Overgrowth by Wolfire Games. You may have seen this one floating around on YouTube before. It's definitely gotten my attention. I've seen people started playing this probably close to a year ago, just demoing out some of the capabilities of this game, and I have to say it is an extremely entertaining little sandbox of craziness. I mean, it's kind of hard to describe what exactly this game is about since it's still a bit on the early side. But in general, at least right now, it's a really competent physics and combat engine with which some sort of anthropomorphic bunny and or wolf and or cat tale will be told at some point. Right now, there's not really much in the way of narrative, if any, really. It's just suggested by these strange environments, also very strange figures, and a whole bunch of combat, which we're going to get into. So I'm going to demo some of the stuff you might expect to find when you're messing around in Overgrowth, and also I have to say this has been an extremely fun, just crazy physics sandbox for me to play around, and I've already generated probably like a couple of hours worth of content that I'm sure you'll be happy to see showing up in my physics madness playlist that will be starting to get a little bit more fleshed out thanks to Overgrowth. So what are we doing here? This is the first area that you're allowed to enter into. Well, I mean, not like you're not allowed to enter into the other maps, but it's the first map that is available in the menu that lets you just play around with these, I don't know what to even call them. There are a whole bunch of just, they look like broken crayons, I'll be honest with you, like crayons made of wax sticking out of the ground everywhere in strange directions. And being the bunny that we are, we're going to use our crazy bunny legs to jump around this environment. So we've got a whole bunch of different commands at our disposal. For example, we've got this roll, which we can actually use as a flip in the air. And if you actually time that wrong, you'll end up breaking your own little bunny neck and end up dead. On top of that, there's also some combat stuff, which we'll get into, and then there's also a like a pull yourself up option. And of course, being that this is an alpha, there's still a lot of stuff that's not fully fleshed out. I would almost expect that this may end up crashing at some point during this. It's definitely been pretty unstable from my experience, but I've also been messing around with it a lot in ways that probably aren't exactly intended. So I just want to give you a feel for how fluid the controls are. I'm just using WASD to jump around, and you know, spacebar, of course, as our actual jump mechanism, and then shift is going to be our flip button. There is also a, if you just stay still and hit shift instead of the flip, you're going to do just a crouch. Then there are also some more entertaining buttons, such as feign death, which is on Z. And when you combine feign death with the flip button, you end up with some generally pretty entertaining results most of the time. So you can actually propel your little guy flying through the air, and again, expect him to eventually break his neck here. Oh, he lived that time. You'll tell when he's broken his neck based on a really loud crunch sound. And there is also a bullet time feature, which is kind of exciting for, you know, Fight Night Round 3 style fighting sequences. So if I were to jump at this, I can actually slow myself in midair and redirect the camera. Which, I don't know, it doesn't look that climactic when you're just jumping around, but during the fight sequences it can be kind of cool. So in addition to feigning death, we've also got a cut your own throat button, which is kind of amazing, a little violent though, so hopefully if you're a little squeamish, I don't know, maybe you won't like this. I shouldn't say hopefully, you probably won't like that. Yeah, he doesn't like it either. So let's just do a little bit of jumping around. Oh, check out this little deformed area here, that's kind of neat. And I will show off some of the strange crap that I was able to pull off at certain points. One thing being that I've gotten sort of obsessed with doing this flip all the time. And if you time it just right, you can actually do some really strange flip and then pull yourself up moves. Things that look like they make absolutely no sense. Sometimes he'll actually grab the edge and then do a full flip on top of it, which is pretty weird. So we're in a whole, like, physics sandbox here. We can just mess around. If you jump too far down, you'll break your legs and die. If you jump incorrectly, you'll break your neck and die. The interesting thing about this game is the combat is basically, like, lethal hits only. I mean, the bunny can survive just about anything except for, like, a neck blow or a kick to the head. Basically, your head is just your weak point, as, you know, in reality. So you want to make sure to guard that whenever possible, and you want to try and do you know, parkour-style rolls to break out of really long falls. Usually you can break your fall that way. Sometimes, though, you just don't have luck with it. The physics system, although it's really quite good, there are also some elements of it that could still use a lot of work. But that's just my opinion, of course. I'm sure you'll be able to find quite a few other people that have differing opinions. I think the first time I saw this was a review by Nerd Cubed, and actually that was the first thing I'd seen by him. It was a kind of a cool introduction. And all the way back then, whenever that was that his video went up, it was still this crayon-based physics sandbox. But there are actually some challenge missions, some one-on-one combat, and a whole bunch of other stuff that we can get into. There's also quite a few maps now, too, although I'm not sure how useful having a lot of maps is when there's not really anything to do in them. But again, alpha, so really can't be too upset. I'm actually quite happy to be able to try this at all. There it is. That was the weird flip grab that I was talking about before. But I have to say, at least like on an artistic level, the scale of everything feels really good. The movement feels really good. Everything looks lovely. The bunny, maybe a little ratty around the edges, but for the most part, his animations work nicely. And he's got such a nice fluid system to the way he moves around. For example, when you're going down a steep hill, you'll notice his little legs will speed up quite a ways. And it's got a sort of like Assassin's Creed style feel to it, the way parkour and movement works. I can't believe I lived through that. I probably wasn't supposed to there. And I haven't exactly figured out how it all works yet, but there is, throughout this whole experience, at least in the alpha version right now, there's like an ongoing level editor that you can jump in and out of. So, if, for example, if I wanted to just move one of these pillars around, I could actually jump into that and do that, although then you'd need to recalculate the shadows and the pathing and all that stuff, which is not something I'm sure you guys want to watch me deal with, and will most likely lead to a crash. Almost every time I've tried to mess around with editing stuff, it's pretty much crashed. But, again, alpha, not really upset about that, I just thought I would mention it. So you can actually pull off some pretty cool ninja-style moves if you're pretty good with the way this guy gets around. Those flips can definitely lead to some odd conveyance methods. I mean, he can just do some wild stuff all by himself without even doing the flips, but... yeah, so we got a wall run. Like that. This is sort of Ninja Gaiden-style stuff. It's pretty cool, actually. I mean, I've seen this done before, but getting the feel for the character, actually, is where a lot of this really shines. I should also show you there's a number of different skins you can use. And pardon me if any of this takes a very long time in loading. That's another thing. A lot of times loading anything in this takes sometimes an arduous amount of time. There also hasn't been really anything in the way of like options that have really been fleshed out, because right now when you go to the options menu, it's all just like placeholder information. So if I want to record stuff in my normal 720p resolution, I have to actually go through and stretch the window manually, which is a little awkward. I've had to do this in a couple of games, and it's not my favorite thing in the world, but, you know, it's worth doing just to show this off. So we've got a variety of different bunnies, and then, of course, our random wolf, who is very clunky compared to the bunnies. You'll notice they have pretty lifelike looking eyes, actually, that tend to move around, shiny noses and stuff. You know, I'm generally not into the whole anthropomorphized creatures thing, but again, it just sort of works in this situation. And this one, this is the Nightmare Fuel cat. I don't know what the deal is with this cat, but it is like, it's not ready for public consumption yet, in my opinion. It just looks creepy in pretty much every way. Honestly, the creepiest thing I can do with it is make it crawl at the camera. Oh my god, it's like a horrible gecko or something. I don't like that thing at all. Then we've got our like Assassin's Creed Altair bunny, who is pretty adorable in, as far as being in homage to Assassin's Creed, I suppose. I'm pretty sure that's what we're doing here. What was that, 7? No, the 7 was Nightmare Fuel Cat. And we got a break for loading, apparently. Sorry about that, I guess we had some sort of a loading issue there. So there was really just one more thing to show you anyway, which is just this cool robot. Looks like it's some kind of weird robot that was like everyone's favorite Christmas present a few years ago. Sort of looked a little bit like this. Kind of a neat design, actually. I like how everything has such a nice texture to it. There's such a like a plasticky look to the shell on that robot thing, and then these bits over here. I don't even know what the texture is here, but it's just got a very tactile sensation, very high resolution. And when you see it all broken apart over here, definitely does give you that vibe, a little bit of like what I said before, like they feel like wax bits of crayon sticking out of the ground. Again, not sure why that is the way it is, but maybe the game itself will actually explain that at some point. So, I think we're about done randomly jumping around Crayon Land. Maybe I'll show you just very briefly what it might look to move around some of this stuff, just for funsies. I actually had built myself a little obstacle course at one point. I'll see if I can perhaps replicate that situation again. I think the quickest way to jump into editor is, yeah, press 9. Alright, so now we've got our view of everything here, and we can actually very simply orient the camera. There we go. Hold shift and then WASD will move you up and down. So once you get over here, I believe this one doesn't give you quite enough room to make the jump across to the other side, so I'll slide this over a bit, and I'm not going to bother recalculating shadows and stuff, so don't worry about that. Maybe slant it just a little bit. You can move this stuff around very easily, actually. And then this one we're going to want to raise up quite a way. Give you something to jump up to, right? Then from there we can make the jump from there to there, to there, to there. Acts like step ladder, I guess. And of course it's going to leave gaps and stuff if you don't go and really check this out carefully. But I'm not being super careful here, I'm just kind of having fun with it. Let me move that one out a little bit. I mean, it's really quite simple to just grab stuff. Then we'll just click our little Rabot button, and that should jump us right back in with changes made. Again, no shadows recalculated yet. And you can see those are moved over just a little bit. And that should hopefully allow me to make the jump off of this thing. Although it seems awfully far now, doesn't it? I don't know, this rabbit's pretty versatile though. Yeah, he made it. And then... wow, I was expecting myself to jump all the way over there. I don't think that's going to happen, honestly. I'll try it anyway, why not? Not even close. Yeah, we'll do a little ninja jump and break our own necks. Alright, well that actually makes a great segue to go back out to the main menu. Alright, so here's our menu. It is quite screwed up looking at the moment for whatever reason. The stuff from other menus is overlaid on top of it. That is not the way it normally looks. Honestly, the first time I opened the game, it wasn't even doing that. It's kind of hard to navigate like this. Alright, let's see if we can at least show off some of this stuff. So we've got our list of maps that are pre-created here. These are all ripe for the picking, although I believe, what was it, the Patchy Highlands? I think when I went to this one, it just wouldn't start at all. It just crashed the game every single time. The one level I was having a bit of fun with was the Eroded Plateau. It was just like a large open forest area with a little town in the middle, and then there was another rabbit in there we could fight with. And you can spawn your own, you know, enemies and stuff to mess around with too if you really feel like it. I found an interesting little thing was every time I feigned death, all of the enemies also did it at the same time I did. So you could use that as sort of like a weird defensive mechanism. I think the only reason that is because they all share the same physics. Like they haven't differentiated each other. Like each rabbit is its same clone. So whatever affects one of them affects all of them or something like that. Alright, so there's a rabbit guy down here. Where'd he go? I just saw him a second ago. Did you see him? There he is. He's looking for a way up. The AI is not amazing most of the time. The as far as the fighting goes, it's pretty decent actually, but from a distance, the pathfinding could probably use a little bit more work. I mean, if you're going to give him all these abilities, like ninja-like moves, you're probably going to want to make them able to use them, right? So if I'm really lucky, maybe I can actually just, like, land on this thing. No, I don't think so. Alright, so that will be what the fight system looks like. It's actually pretty intense at times. There's not... okay, I killed him already. Not as much strategy as I would perhaps like to see at times, but it is definitely cool looking. So yeah, we'll just go out back to the main menu for that. Let's go to challenge, because there are actually a few things pretty cool about this. We'll show you the fighting setup with just a one-on-one situation so we can get a little bit more feel for that. Alright, so let's show you how this works. I'm going to just mess around with him a bit. I'm actually not going to probably do too well, but that's fine because I'm just showing it off for the moment. And really, there's not much to win. Retry. Watch this. Feign death, everybody goes down. And if you just hold it, just stay down. Anyway. Oh, wow, one hit, huh? Oh, and I can still feign death after I'm dead to make them drop to the ground. That's kind of funny. Didn't expect that, right? Yeah. The old classic technique. Think we're gonna fight, but then I slit my own throat out of nowhere. So really, as far as I can tell, and I did mess with this for like a good half an hour to 45 minutes or so, just trying to use the combat, figure out exactly what I can do with it. It seems like the majority of moves stem just from left click, like that's really all you got. You can also do ducks and stuff, but that doesn't really help a whole lot. Like when you're down and you're trying to perhaps block a move or two, all ducking's really going to allow you to do is get missed by a high hit. He's got some sort of little sweep attack, but it generally doesn't seem to do much of anything. They almost always just kick you to death, and then your neck always breaks. I think if anything, these rabbits really need some serious neck armor. There's a pretty sweet kick move you can do on top of them if you happen to do like a flip jump right over their head. And I believe that is like a one-hit kill, but it's kind of hard to do a standing jump where they're going to be. Because the controls are pretty sensitive, and you've probably noticed as my mouse has been flying back and forth. See if we can get a good position here. Like, it all goes by really fast, which is probably why you want to use the slowing down time move occasionally. Although now it seems almost too slow. I feel like it should just jump in at the right moments to make combat really have, you know, a nice punctuated effect to it. I mean, you can use it that way, but it just seems sort of weird. Look at that roll. It's kind of amazing, actually, how weird the physics can look when you slow everything down. Because in normal speed, I feel like for the most part it looks like everything hits pretty well, everything connects, everything seems to make sense. But occasionally when you slow everything down, you notice like their legs almost look... Oh, look at his head. Everything looks all dislocated and disfigured. I don't even know what he just did there. I think he kicked himself to death. That doesn't look healthy. I know, he's rolling out of it. He's good. See, that looks bizarre. Normal speed, I wouldn't have even noticed any of that. There you go, right in the midsection. Oh, that killed him. You can tell because he makes a little yelping noise and then he can drag his body around. I guess in the full version there's going to be like some stealth action moments where you need to like hide bodies and stuff. There are weapons and stuff, but I've never really run into any in a way that makes sense. And I tried placing one on the map and I wasn't really able to do that either. If you're curious about what campaign means, there's not very much to it. It's really just... The only one that worked that I could tell was... Oh, I've got an ally in this one. Wow, thanks, buddy. That was meaningful. I don't even know what I was going to say. Is I going to go... Oh, yeah, the campaign, there was, like, just about nothing to it. There was this one arena mode where you could just fight increasingly difficult enemies. Alright, so I died, but my partner helped me out there. Yeah, when you outnumber your enemies, that really, really makes a difference, honestly. Because trying to fight 3 rabbits at the same time was next to impossible. Also, fighting wolves is probably a little easier. I haven't been able to figure out exactly how you throw somebody. But I guess there's a key for that as well, because if you watch, that'll happen quite a bit. Alright, you kill my buddy, I kill your face, actually. Buddy. Alright, let's go back out. Let's try the... Let me show you the 3 rabbit fight. I wasn't able to finish this because it's a pretty daunting task to have to fight 3 of anything in this. I'm going to be using the L key to restart, just considering it's a lot faster. And I'm learning to try and roll out of most attacks. It seems to help not get you killed quite as fast. It's a pretty crazy premise. I mean, it's sort of like playing the Matrix with bunnies. I mean, it's not really something I ever thought I would want to play, but yet, here we are. And I believe this is a sequel to this game, Lugaru, or I'm not sure how exactly to pronounce it. I've never actually tried that one, but I heard some decent things about it. Although I think this is probably already more significant in terms of its engine. Kick everything! I'm not even sure how you decide to punch instead of kick. It just seems to happen contextually. See, they always just knock you down and kick your head in. Very brutal, these bunnies. They're a warlike group. I forgot to look to see if I actually get anything or, like, recognition for unlocking that other challenge. I feel like I must be... Oh, see, I killed myself on that one because I decided to roll in midair. It's a surprisingly violent game, and then once you add blades into the mix and you start getting everybody with their throat cut, it's kind of bloody too, which another thing I wasn't really expecting. That was a good hit you got there. Look, this whole fight just took 3 seconds. So let's go back out to challenge again, and let's see about double-edged sword. Let's see if we can get a sword involved. I haven't actually tried one of these yet. Could be exciting. If I can figure out how to pick it up, that is. Alright, where are we? We're in the desert. We got a couple of buildings. We got a dude over there. Oh, he's the one with the sword. I don't get one? I guess I'm supposed to be stealthy here. I could probably sneak up behind one of these guys if I'm real slick, or do a downward attack on... No, that is not what that was. I don't know where you're going, buddy. Bunny buddy. Yeah, that's death. I want a sword. Where's mine? I have to say the frame rate always seems to run at a pretty nice clip. Okay, so there's a sword on the ground. I'll just feign death on top. Oh, he's back up. That is unfortunate. I thought he was dead and gone. I could have just kicked him in the head if he wasn't. Hello, look at me. Come at me, bro. Okay, let's go over here. Seems like they get a little careless when they have a sword. Except, then that happens. Okay, the blood is actually, like, legit kind of creepy. Like, it really seems to move around and have realistic-looking physics to it. Oh, God. Well, if anyone out there is really into, like, bunny murder simulators, I think I got a game for you. That is violent. Let's see if I can kill myself before you get to me. I just want to figure out how to pick up a sword. Please let me. Kick him. Kill him. I was gonna try and drag him somewhere, I'm not sure why. It's gotta be like just some button I haven't pressed. I don't understand what the issue is here. Where are you going? Oh, you wanna go get your buddy, huh? Ah, okay, there we go. I thought I pressed Q a number of times, apparently not. That's gonna make this a little bit more satisfying. Alright. Neat. Well, it's not exactly as satisfying once you get the sword and then everything instantly dies, I guess. Get him! Oh, moved at the last second. Yeah, that's well done. Alright, let's go back out again. I know I'm just skipping around here, but I'm really just seeing what there is to see. Let's see what Bone Collector's about. Face off against a single opponent in an unarmed duel. Well, we've done that already. Sword-wielding friends are waiting for you. Oh, okay, I like this. Let's lure some wolves into a trap. Sounds much more gratifying. Alright, there's my sword-wielding friends. Let's find our wolves. Oh, ow. That didn't quite work. You gotta remember to hold right-click, otherwise you will not climb up edges properly. Oh, there's the wolves. Look at me, wolfies! I'm a flippin' bunny! I'm a flippin' bunny. I flip, and I flip. Follow me! Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Time to watch a wolfie massacre. Alright, sorry about that. For whatever reason, when I went around that corner, apparently the game decided to just have some sort of horrible error, and actually just locked up and then was showing like one frame every 20 seconds or something like that. So anyway, I quit, started the game back up again, and we are now dancing around back in Crayon Land. So this has been just a pretty quick little review, not so much review, but just more walk through some of the things you might expect to see if you end up picking up a copy of Overgrowth, the pre or very early alpha version. I know it's been around for a while, yet it seems like there's still so much to do. But they're a very good, competent design group. I'm sure they're going to come up with a lot of great stuff for the final version whenever that happens to be. I have to say, I think that perhaps the alpha is a little bit on the expensive side. I don't know if all of you guys are going to definitely want to get it at the price point it's at, and I'm not sure where it is exactly at the moment, but I think it was something like $30. And I know it's one of those like Minecraft-esque things where you get access to this and there's all kinds of custom maps you can go download and stuff. So, I mean, there is some support and there's quite a bit of a community around this game. It's not like you won't be getting something more in the future. You know, even as it is right now, there's still quite a bit to do with it. And I'm actually pretty sure I'm going to end up making quite a few hours of insane video footage of this, doing random stuff and or playing custom levels. I don't know what yet, but it is quite a bit of fun, despite the lack of general substance. I think just having a physics engine and a good combat system is enough to carry it for now, but hopefully lots more good stuff to come in the future. So thank you again to the friend that picked me up the copy of this one. I'm very, very grateful for that, and I hope you guys enjoyed this little look at it. I will do a little trick I found on our way out here. Hopefully this is not too insane for you, but this may crash the game, so I will leave us with our usual plugs as we do that, alright? So as always, remember to head on over to www.indie-impressions.com. Check out all the videos, old and new, see what you can find, check out the forums, visit the Facebook page, leave a like if you choose, get every day's new videos delivered right into your Facebook stream. And of course, if you want to contact me about possibly checking out your game for a video on the channel, at RockLeeSmile on Twitter is the quickest way to do it. Happy to talk to anybody, feel free to just stop by and say hi. And thank you as always for watching. So hopefully you'll join me again tomorrow for another awesome indie game. And have a lovely night, and don't let this haunt your dreams!